Australia's Northern Territory, an elite group is at the front line to safeguard an Aboriginal land. Their job is to protect this ancient wilderness called Kakadu. Floods, fire, feral animals, and deadly crocodiles are just some of the challenges they face.
So we're going to move down there, back.
With 20,000 square kilometers to cover, theirs is a massive task. It's a group living on the frontier where man meets wild and nature calls the shots.
Crocodile could be lying down there anywhere.
It's the beginning of another wild year for these Outback Rangers. In the heart of Kakadu lies the remote Jim Jim outstation. Here, Ranger Kathy Wilson is under heavy pressure.
Yeah, we've got to get a move on. The chopper's due at 2.
Peak tourist season is just around the corner, and she has to open Twin Falls and Jim Jim Falls, two of Kakadu's most popular attractions. But there's something standing in her way. Something with teeth. Over the wet season, large crocs have traveled from the tidal rivers, up through the floodplains, all the way to the base of the falls. Cold-blooded and solitary, these dangerous reptiles can take out a human in mere seconds.
This is prime croc country. This is the start of a real deep waterhole. We've got crocodiles going up and down. It's very dangerous. It's likely that somebody will get taken.
Over the next few weeks, the rangers have to remove crocs from within 10 kilometers of Jim Jim Falls. If they miss a single animal, the consequences could be tragic.
Who saw the one up at Twin Falls?
That was reported by a helicopter pilot, yeah.
With little time to spare, Gary Lidber, Kakadu's croc expert, has come to lend Kathy a hand.
Yeah, like a 10-footer. In these areas here, the prey for a crocodile can be exhausted really quick. So what that means is you come along, you've got a hungry croc in the water, depending on whether he's just got there and he's getting into the tucker that's in the water. If he's exhausted that, he's going to be lean, going to be hungry, and he's going to be looking at you if you get in the water.
It's quite deceptive for a lot of people with a small body of water like this. You don't expect to find a great white in a swimming pool, but a saltwater crocodile could easily live in here all year if there's a food supply. There's not enough food in here to sustain a large animal right through the dry season, and people, especially small children, will easily be targeted. Even people just walking by, walking up to the edge of the bank, looking at the water, they're at high risk.
Until the area is croc-free, the falls will remain closed. In Jabiru, the park's main township, tour operator Steve Toms waits anxiously for the falls to be opened.
People are ringing up saying, oh, when's Jim Jim and Twin Falls opening? And you go, well, yeah, it might open in early June, it might not, and this time of year, the campground should be filling up and there was a few people there. It's the whole industry around here that's just taken a hit. If you lose half your business in June, you're probably down nearly $40,000 a year. Like myself, I'm just a small operator. Until this place is open, I'm pretty much stuck here washing trucks.
With so much at stake, the pressure is on the rangers to clear the tourist spots. Their first task is to set a trap along the waterway leading up to the falls.
We're heading deep into rogue crocodile country.
Wow, you'd like to smell that smell? Really strong, fishy smell, hey? It's the smell of like crocodiles. careful going around the water's edge, hey, just in case he's watching us.
The trap will be placed at one of the most inaccessible parts of the falls. To do so, Kathy calls in reinforcements.
All right, so we're coming up on the top of the gorge now. At this stage, we're fully committed.
With little margin for error, a wrong move could spell disaster.
The walls are pretty tight on both sides. We don't have a lot of room to correct it. It's obviously dangerous. It's very important that people, ground crew, all safe with that.
One step closer to getting the place free of crocs.
Over the next few weeks, the rangers will begin night surveys to search the Jim Jim area's waterways for any sign of the deadly predators. Kilometers from Jim Jim Falls, at the Magilla floodplain, Calvin Murakami and Fred Hunter are launching another patrol. They form the park's integrated feral team, battling invasive species that threaten to destroy these wetlands. Today, their aim is to find and destroy a noxious weed called mimosa. It spreads fast over the wetlands, blocking access to vital sources of food underneath. If left unchecked, the mimosa can wipe out entire species.
It's places like this now, just searching, looking around. We could go for 2 weeks and not find a plant. Got to go everywhere. We've got to look wherever. Any pockets or anything like that, we'll go and look, because that's where the plants could be. Well, look, mimosa's over there.
Mimosa.
Mimosa is from South America, brought over in late 1800s. And from there, it spread itself around the top of the Northern Territory. We have to come out here every year, dry season and the wet season, to make sure that plants like this are not going to be able to drop their seeds.
With nearly 10,000 square kilometers of floodplain to cover on their small airboat, it's a daunting task.
What you see out here now is natural. Red lilies, ungulate, all this stuff here, that's what the geese eat. When the water goes down, that's where the little yams are underneath there. If that was covered in mimosa, there'd be nothing here for the geese to eat. Turtles wouldn't be able to live in it, so it would be a disaster. It's a constant battle to protect Kakadu.
Near the mouth of the South Alligator River, rangers are preparing for a battle with a problem croc.
We begin tonight with an exclusive report on a rogue crocodile, more than 4 metres long, becoming so aggressive that Parks Australia feared it was only a matter of time before his taste turned from boats to the human bait on board.
A ferocious croc has been harassing fishermen.
As the tide had sort of turned, the boats start to move around a bit, so you sort of start to get a bit disorientated because it's all dark. Everyone's quiet, and the crocs come up to the back of the boat, hiding in the shadow behind the motor, so you couldn't even see it. You could just hear it. And he came back to our boat 3 times, and you'd shine the torches on him and everything, and he'd disappear. And then he'd come back again. You know, we're trying to work out why he wouldn't go away. You know, it was like we're leaving a trail for him. And the next minute, you heard this big crunch.
That's him.
He jumped out of the water and decided to bite this. It doesn't take a lot for a big croc like that to get out of the water. There's a heck of a lot of them now. They're just everywhere, everywhere. You get them on the line all over the banks, they're in the rivers, they're chasing you here, there and everywhere. And in the old days, they didn't do that. They stayed away.
With media reports compounding the pressure, Gary Littner and his crew head out to the South Alligator River. They need to find and remove this menacing croc fast.
We get reports back from people about, certain crocodiles around the place, and it's about identifying those risks and, analysing it and then putting something in place to, stop someone from getting eaten or attacked.
It's kind of Jurassic Park, and you have to, afford them every respect. It's not about fearing crocs, it's about respecting them and understanding what they're capable of.
Back at the Magilla floodplains, Calvin and Fred have just discovered another big problem.
Got a big damage here, Calvin.
Wild pigs.
Yeah, a fair bit of it, isn't it? They've been here for a while by the looks of it.
Yeah, basically the pigs have dug it up, looking for yams. As the water gets lower, the pigs are coming out and digging it all up, and you can see there's a fair bit of damage here.
Just like mimosa, pigs are an introduced species. They threaten the survival of the wetlands and their native inhabitants. These pigs dig deep into the wetlands in search of food, destroying the floodplains. What started as a weed patrol has now turned into a mission to control feral pigs.
Good mob of pigs over here. Might be about 15 or...
When they start running, make sure you've got a tree to hide behind.
Starting to turn.
No one enjoys doing it. They're not bloodthirsty sort of thing. It's part of our job, yeah. It's either you control your feral animals or you let them destroy the environment, plus all the native wildlife, their habitat, their feed. So yeah, I know what I'm choosing. I'm choosing to get rid of ferals. Yeah, it's a nice fat pig and we'll take it home to eat.
With the herd of pigs under control, the crew can now call it a day. But for another team, the battle is just about to begin. Night falls, South Alligator River. Gary Littner and his crew are hoping to catch a large crocodile that has been attacking fishing boats. They must remove it from the river, alive.
It's a high-risk activity when you're doing croc management, like harpooning. You can get grabbed, you can get pulled underwater, you can get grabbed on the hand and, limb twisted off. They're a really powerful animal. Got a nice one, bit toey, Calvin. Spotlight. Oh. Have a look at him. Yeah, no, he was just sitting under the water.
Not all crocs in Kakadu get this confident, but given the chance, this one could strike again.
You're gonna have to get around on him so we can get a harpoon on him, look. The line is here. Second harpoon, quick. Second harpoon, down there. Back. Harpoon him, quick. Just hit him. Okay, get another one. Okay, David, come on. Get another good hit, okay? Pull him up. Highly likely that this is the animal that bit the boat. He's about a 4.2 metre saltwater crocodile, around the size that the fisherman reported. And he seems to have some lacerations here on his jaws. And these look like, a few days old.
A strong dose of muscle relaxant is injected into the croc to make it easier for the rangers to handle him.
A very powerful animal. You can see the way he shook the ropes, and it took 3 harpoon lines to secure him and a couple of snout ropes. So the challenge now is to try and get him in the boat. 2, 3. Hang on. Come up here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go! Harley.
Luckily for this creature, it's not the end for him. Yet. He's going to live out his remaining days on a croc farm in Queensland. The next day, over at Jim Jim Creek, the rangers are making sure no stone is left unturned. Kathy Wilson and Fred Baird are installing more traps along the 10 kilometres of waterway leading up to the falls.
At the end of last dry season, we pulled a croc trap from out of the water down here, and we've put it up high on one of the banks.
With all this dead spear grass, everything's hard to find.
Always got to watch out for snakes. Fred! Found it! Got it here!
Yeah, it's well camouflaged, yeah. Here come reinforcements.
This is a croc track here. Yeah, it's probably come up middle of the day. I reckon probably within 2 weeks we'll have one in the trap. That's pretty good, Fred. Working on the edge of the water is always a risk. That's why we have someone on the lookout all the time with a firearm. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Deep water makes it easier for the crocodile to just lunge up out of the water nice and quick. So you got to keep your wits about you and keep an eye out.
You're watching, aren't you, Fred? Give it one pull just to make sure. Beautiful.
With the trap in place, there's only one thing left to do.
Throw a few matches, we'll burn this area.
Throw one.
This time each year, parts of Kakadu are intentionally set ablaze. A technique practiced by the traditional owners for thousands of years. Burning the speargrass now will prevent uncontrolled destructive fires later in the hot season. To get the job done today, a chopper takes to the skies, dropping firebombs to follow traditional burning patterns.
Yeah, he's putting up a fair bit of smoke from that little bit of fire.
Fire strategy in Kakadu does relate back to the way the Indigenous people used to burn when there were thousands of people living here. And of course, this day and age, there aren't the same amount of people, but there's still the same amount of country. But we still try and create the same sort of patchwork of burns that occurred, way back when Aboriginal people used to do it.
The opening of Jim Jim Falls and Twin Falls is now just weeks away. Yet an elusive croc is still keeping the area closed. Tonight, Kathy and her team are embarking on a dangerous hunt, and they don't intend to go home empty-handed.
First thing is to have the gun ready to go for our safety, personal protection. We'll take the rifle with us.
You definitely get nervous when you're heading out onto the creek, deep water. You just don't know where he's going to be hiding.
The crew checks the floats they've left in the water, looking for any recent bite marks.
There's quite a few fresh marks on there. Looking at a 3.5 metre croc. That's quite hard. An animal that's left this mark could easily make a meal of a person. Fred, let's just have a look at that trap, eh? Looks like the bait got taken, Fred. Means we've missed it. A feed of a good pig leg like that, it could be a week or more before it's ready to eat again.
Yeah, it looks like it just might have got jammed, Kathy.
The croc has slipped away this time. But as the sun comes up, the Rangers get a fresh lead.
Yeah, Ollie, I can see a big crocodile down there in Chang'e Falls.
That might be the one that they've been trying to target. Fly around again, mate, and I'll take a GPS of it. Let Kathy know she can take it from there.
With the deadly croc in their sights, the crew must now intensify their efforts. The clock is ticking fast, and the stakes have never been higher.
They're terrifying when you see what they're capable of.
In the next episode, Rangers race against time as they continue the tug of war with one of nature's most fearsome creatures.